Power, uniformity, and adaptation. We'll move through every Stormtrooper variant, how each was built for a purpose, and what that purpose costs on the battlefield. Let's break this down. Imperial Stormtrooper. The standard trooper's armor is a molded composite shell roughly 1.2 meters tall when worn with kit. Its glossy panels engineered for rapid stamping on assembly lines. The suite's internal padding muffles sound and traps heat, producing a faint, recycled air scent that follows them into corridors. Tactically, they enforce presence. Formations that march in lockstep create a psychological wall, but the trade-off is limited peripheral vision and inconsistent marksmanship under stress. Contrast the uniform's intimidation with the human inside. Fatigue, poor fieldcraft, and supply shortfalls turn doctrine into vulnerability. Foreshadowing. Where mass replaces skill, small units with initiative can exploit predictable patterns. Tension. A squad's cohesion is only as strong as its morale. Snowtrooper. Their layered insulation and sealed visors are engineered to survive sustained exposure below minus 40 degrees Celsius. The outer cloak traps a microclimate, while cartridge heaters in the chest plate keep core temperature stable for up to 12 hours of patrol. Movement is slower, boots leaving deep tracked prints that betray approach, and optics are tuned to reduce glare from reflective snowfields. Operationally, they excel at static defense and convoy interdiction in polar theaters, but their bulk reduces agility and makes close quarters fighting awkward. Contrast the white armor's camouflage with the human cost of frostbite and condensation in helmets. And foreshadowing, a frozen outpost can become a tomb if resupply fails. Tension. Every step is a calculation between exposure and mission. Scouttrooper. Built for speed and observation, their armor sheds weight to favor mobility. Reinforced joints in a streamlined helmet reduce drag for speeder operations, and their sensor suite extends visual range by hundreds of meters at the cost of ballistic protection. They trade survivability for information. A scout can spot an ambush before it forms, but is vulnerable if pinned. Sensory cues, wind whip servos, the high whine of a speeder, and the thin, metallic taste of adrenaline in a recon sprint. Contrast reconnaissance's value with the loneliness of long patrols. Foreshadowing, a single misread horizon can cascade into disaster. Tension. Speed without support is a brittle advantage. On Sandtrooper. Their armor is modified with sealed vents, particulate filters, and extended hydration packs to endure desert heat where daytime temperatures exceed 45 degrees Celsius. Sand-sealed joints and long-range optics compensate for abrasive grit. The suit's exterior often carries mission-specific gear, extra rations, comm relays, and a sand-swept pack that doubles as a mobile cache. Tactically, they dominate long patrols and convoy interdiction across dunes, but logistics, water, filters, and spare seals determine endurance. Contrast the romantic image of a lone patrol with the grind of maintenance in a corrosive environment. Foreshadowing, a clogged filter or a lost water bladder turns a patrol into a survival story. Tension, heat, and isolation erode discipline. Shoretrooper, designed for literal defense. Their plating is reinforced at the torso and thighs to resist shrapnel from coastal engagements while allowing for rapid transitions between sand and shallow water. Corrosion-resistant seals and buoyant inserts keep them operational in surf and salt spray. Their helmets include short-range sonar and low-light optics for dawn and dusk interdiction. Operationally, they secure beaches and installations, anchoring choke points where amphibious landings are likely. Contrast the armor's local specialization with the inflexibility of a unit tied to a single environment. Foreshadowing, a rising tide or a flanking landing can render a static defense obsolete. Tension, holding a shoreline is a race against logistics and weather. Death Trooper, blacked armor, integrated comm encryption, and advanced targeting overlays mark them as elite operators. Their helmets house multiband radios and threat-filtering HUDs that reduce reaction time by fractions of a second. Selection is brutal and training intense, producing soldiers who operate in small, deniable teams for high-value missions. Sensory beats, near-silent movement, the click of suppressed weapons, and the cold efficiency of a unit that expects no mercy. Contrast their precision with the expendability of regular forces. Elites are scarce, and their loss is strategic. Foreshadowing. Elite units change the calculus of a campaign but invite asymmetric retaliation. Tension. The psychological weight of being the Empire's hidden blade. Purge Trooper. Engineered to hunt Force-sensitive targets, their gear includes enhanced motion sensors, short-pulse disruptors, and protocols for coordinated sweeps. Side helmets incorporate algorithms that flag anomalous bioelectric signatures within a limited radius. Training emphasizes tracking, containment, and rapid neutralization, often in urban labyrinths, where civilians complicate engagement. Contrast the clinical focus of their mission with the moral ambiguity of targeting individuals for belief or potential. Foreshadowing, the tools that find ghosts can also create paranoia. Tension, every sweep risks collateral damage and political fallout. Air-Sea Trooper. Advanced Recon Commandos are semi-autonomous leaders with modular rigs that support extended independent operations. Their armor integrates mission-specific modules, from extra-comm relays to compact anti-armor charges, and their decision cycles are shorter because doctrine grants them initiative. They act as force multipliers, while coordinating small teams and adapting tactics on the fly. Sensory cues, rapid radio chatter, the clack of modular attachments, and the confident cadence of a leader who expects to improvise. Contrast ARC autonomy with the Empire's usual top-down control. Foreshadowing, empowered operators can win battles but complicate centralized command. Tension, autonomy breeds innovation and unpredictability. First Order Stormtrooper. Reforged under a new doctrine, their armor emphasizes integrated training pipelines and psychological conditioning from childhood. The suit's polymer composite reduces weight by measurable percentages while improving impact resistance, and helmets include standardized HUDs for squad synchronization. The First Order's approach professionalizes the trooper, aiming for consistency in marksmanship and obedience. I'll contrast this with the Empire's reliance on quantity. The First Order trades replaceability for a more reliable baseline of competence. Foreshadowing, a more capable mass force changes engagement dynamics. Tension, indoctrination produces efficiency but erodes individual judgment. Flametrooper. Built for area denial, their rigs carry pressurized fuel tanks and nozzle assemblies that project incendiary streams measured in meters rather than meters per second. Effective suppression arcs cover several square meters and are devastating against light cover. Armor includes heat-resistant layers and quick-release seals to prevent catastrophic burns, but the fuel load makes them high-value targets. Sensory detail, the acrid tang of burning polymers, the roar of a fuel blast, and the sudden, panicked scatter of exposed troops. Contrast the terror they inspire with the logistical burden of fuel and maintenance. Foreshadowing, flame clears terrain but hardens resolve. Tension, close quarters amplify both power and risk. Riot Trooper. Designed for crowd control, their armor features reinforced shields, joint guards, and non-lethal munition launchers. Helmets include visors that resist thrown objects and gas dispersion systems to protect against chemical agents. Their tactics emphasize formation discipline, controlled advances, and escalation ladders to minimize lethal outcomes while restoring order. Sensory cues, the dull thud of shields, the hiss of dispersal canisters, and the tense silence before a push. Contrast the public order role with battlefield combat. Riot control is political theater as much as force. Foreshadowing, heavy-handedness can inflame rather than pacify. Tension, maintaining legitimacy while using force. Shadowtrooper, covert specialists whose adaptive camo and low observable coatings reduce visual and sensor signatures, making them ideal for infiltration and sabotage. Their suits incorporate active noise, dampening, and thermal masking for short windows of stealth. Training focuses on silent movement, bypassing security, and leaving no trace. Sensory beats, the near absence of sound, the faint hiss of adaptive panels, and the eerie calm of a facility that does not know it has been breached. Contrast stealth's elegance with the moral cost of deception. Foreshadowing, once trust is broken, occupation becomes occupation by fear. Tension, stealth missions hinge on timing and a single mistake can cascade. Range Trooper. Equipped with extended range optics, stabilized firing platforms, and enhanced ammunition stowage, These troopers serve as overwatch and anti-vehicle marksmen. Their rifles are mounted with variable zoom scopes that allow precise engagement out to several hundred meters, and their firing positions are prepared with sandbags and camo nets. Operationally, they deny avenues of approach and protect convoys. Contrast the patience of Overwatch with the chaos of close combat. Foreshadowing, a single well-placed shot can change a battle's tempo. Tension, isolation, and the weight of a single responsibility. Heavy gunner. Fielded with belt-fed repeaters or compact energy cannons, heavy gunners anchor suppressive arcs and fortify positions. With their exoskeletal supports, redistribute recoil and allow sustained fire measured in hundreds of rounds or continuous energy bursts lasting tens of seconds. The trade-off is mobility. Heavy gunners are slow to redeploy and require crew or vehicle support. Sensory cues. The thunder of sustained fire, the smell of spent casings, and the heat bloom on a barrel after prolonged use. Contrast raw volume with precision. Suppression shapes the battlefield, but cannot seize objectives alone. Foreshadowing, logistics, ammo, and cooling decide endurance. Tension, a gun that cannot be moved becomes a liability. Pathfinder Trooper, scouts for deep insertion and forward observation. Pathfinders carry compact sensor buoys, long-range beacons, and survival kits for multi-day missions. Their training emphasizes route selection, stealthy emplacement of comm relays, and rapid exfiltration. Their presence enables larger forces to navigate hostile terrain with reduced risk. Sensory beats, the soft click of a beacon deploying, the low hum of a relay, and the patient watchfulness of a team that waits for a signal. Contrast the quiet utility of Pathfinders with the spectacle of frontline units. Foreshadowing, a lost beacon severs the lifeline of an entire operation. Tension, invisibility is fragile when supply lines fail.